want to bring us to this quote now. This is by Carl Jung in his book, Psychology and Religion. He says, a creed is always the result and fruit of many minds and many centuries, purified from all oddities, shortcomings, and flaws of individual experience. So, jam-packed, what a multivitamin of a quote. So a creed, what's a creed? Really, that's just a set of beliefs that have been, pulled into, well, you could say it's the collective ideal, right? Think about any sort of creeds like the Apostle Creed or the Nicene Creed. You may not know those off the top of your head. Maybe you do. You can look them up, but creeds are essentially statements of ideals, right? We believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth. Okay, let's start there. So it's a statement of belief, and it's an agreed upon metaphor we have around the divine. So God the Father, okay? Father is a metaphor. Father is a way of imaging the divine. You can also say mother. You can also say grandparent. You can also talk about, and the Bible, Hebrew scriptures in particular, image God anthropomorphically in many cases as animals and all sorts of things. So father is a metaphor, but when it gets pulled into a creed, it moves out of metaphor and starts to make its way into a literal dogmatized image. It's no longer an image, it just is the essence of what we're talking about. God is a father rather than God is like a father, right? Because if God is like a father, then God can also be like a lot of other things. But if God is a father, then God can't also be a mother. God can't also be a lion. God can't also be a lamb. Ironically, Christianity, evangelicalism images God all of these ways because that's what we do. Human beings don't encounter the divine in the same image from the moment they have some sort of encounter with the divine to the moment they die. The divine shifts and moves. We just might not acknowledge it that way. So a creed is always the result and fruit of many minds and many centuries, purified from all oddities, shortcomings, and flaws of individual experience. That is the big picture. Is a creed is essentially purified of our experience. So if you go to a church that recites a lot of creeds, and maybe you go to a liturgical church that actually uses creeds like the Nicene Creed or the Apostles' Creed, or maybe you go to a more evangelical church or have come from that their creeds are actually more in the songs they sing or more in they're more metabolized and atmospheric. You're right, they're not spoken, but you see it in the fact that it's only men that speak, or you see it in the fact that what is elevated, what is thought about as ideal, what's rewarded, right, might be, it's certainly going to most likely be heterosexuality. It's going to be monogamy. It's going to be, the family unit. It's going to be financial success while also maintaining generosity. Not a terribly like a bad thing there, but it holds it up as the ideal. And anything that is not that ideal, that doesn't meet that or get close to meeting that, is essentially less than, or it is, and it's on its way to meeting the ideal, meaning it's not there yet. So individual experience becomes this hierarchy where everyone's trying to get to the top, right? You can already see how this mirrors our economic system of capitalism, right? This purification of oddities and flaws. We're trying to create an image that the consumer wants to buy, and essentially because the consumer wants that sort of purification themselves, and if they can have this product, then they will absorb that purity into themselves. So when you think about creeds. You can think about the actual creeds, that I've mentioned. I want you to consider how beliefs, creeds, or statements of faith, how they're still lodged in your body, even if you've left the church, you've left it for years. What are those statements, those beliefs, those creeds that have somehow metabolized, like little microplastics into your bloodstream, into your body, that still have sway, that still externally guide your decision making? What are the ways that you still rely on anything outside of you to dictate, to be the last say or the voice that you have to hear before taking action? Because it's fine to have collaboration in a relationship in that direction. In fact, I think that's essential, because to not have that would be to go the other side. But in what ways have you abdicated your sense of self and agency, feelings, emotions, desires, needs, wants, like all of that, your ability to take action? How have you abdicated that as a way of moving towards some sort of ideal where God is the ultimate deciding factor